Welcome to the Markets Talk podcast, where we help you make sense of West Africa's investment world. This podcast is brought to you by Daba, your most comprehensive platform for investing in African stocks, bonds, and managed funds. You can download the Daba app on your favorite Google and Apple app stores. We take a close look at the trading session of Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, on the regional stock exchange, the BRVM. We start with some good news. Despite a mixed performance, several stocks shone brightly, creating real opportunities for investors. Let's dive in. Let's begin with the main indexes. The BRVM Composite closed at 322.01 points. It slipped slightly by 0.02% during the day. But if we take a step back, it has risen by more than 16% since the start of the year. In other words, this small daily dip does not erase the strong upward trend we've seen in 2025. Long-term investors are still enjoying steady returns. The BRVM Prestige Index, which tracks large-cap companies, advanced to 136.25 points, up 0.32% during the session, and more than 18% since January. That reflects continued confidence in the region's blue-chip companies. Finally, the BRVM 30, which tracks the 30 most active stocks, closed at 159.64 points, rising 0.23%. Even a modest gain here shows that the core of the market is still moving upward. Now let's celebrate the stars of the day. 5 stocks recorded strong gains. First, Setao d'Ivoire. Its share price surged 6.29%, reaching 930 francs CFA. Since January, the stock has more than doubled, rising 106%. For investors, this proves that the construction and public works sector remains robust, supported by infrastructure projects across West Africa. Second, NSIA Banque Côte d'Ivoire. Its stock rose 4.71%, closing at 10,995 francs CFA. Since the beginning of the year, it has climbed 55%. This highlights the strength of the banking sector, fueled by growing deposits and demand for credit. For investors, banks remain reliable long-term plays. Third, Sucrivoire. The stock advanced 3.40% to 1,370 francs CFA. Since January, it has soared 76%. This shows how the agribusiness sector, especially sugar, benefits from strong regional demand. Fourth, SMB Côte d'Ivoire. It gained 2.17%, closing at 9,400 francs CFA. Its yearly growth is more modest at 9%, but it remains a steady industrial player worth watching. And fifth, Africa Global Logistics Côte d'Ivoire, which rose 1.72% to 1,180 francs CFA. It is up 10% this year. With logistics playing such a critical role in West African trade, this company's performance reinforces its strategic importance. Of course, not everything was positive today. Several stocks faced heavy losses. At the top of the list, Unilever Côte d'Ivoire. The share price dropped 7.50% to 25,770 francs CFA. Yet since January, the stock is still up an incredible 296%. This is a reminder of volatility. Even leaders can face short-term corrections as investors take profits. Another steep decline came from Sicor Côte d'Ivoire, which fell 7.14% to 3,740 francs CFA. The stock is down 9% since the start of the year. Oragroup Togo lost 6.28%, closing at 1,165 francs CFA. Year to date, the stock is down nearly 3%. For some, this may look worrying. But for contrarian investors, it might also signal a buying opportunity. Total Energies Marketing Côte d'Ivoire dropped 3.97%, ending at 2,300 francs CFA. It has slipped 8% since January. And finally, Loterie Nationale du Benin lost 3.49%, closing at 4,005 francs CFA. It is now down 15% this year. Let's now take a look at the sector indexes. Telecommunications rose 0.52% but remains down 5% year to date. Orange Côte d'Ivoire and Sonatel continue to anchor this sector, but growth remains uneven. Basic consumer goods fell 0.89% today, yet they are still up an impressive 92% since January. This shows the resilience of demand for essential products. Agriculture gained 0.71%, with yearly growth of more than 72%. A clear positive signal for investors betting on commodities and farming. Energy fell 1.26% today, though the sector is still up 5% in 2025. Let's move to the bond market. Market capitalization stayed steady at nearly 11 trillion francs CFA, but liquidity was low. Only 5,606 bonds were exchanged, a sharp fall of more than 97%. The total value traded was 21 million francs CFA. Looking at new issuances, Mali has added fresh lines. A 10-year bond with a coupon of 6.55% and an 8-year bond with 6.35%. Both will be listed starting September 23rd. These add depth to the regional debt market. For investors, the message is clear. Even when daily activity is light, bonds remain attractive, with yields between 6 and 7%. That's a solid option for those who want stable income in addition to more volatile equities. So, what should investors take away from this session? First, the banking sector continues to shine, with NSIA Banque leading the way. Financial stocks remain a strong foundation for any West African portfolio. Second, agribusiness and basic consumer goods are proving resilient, with Sucrivoire standing out. These sectors are closely tied to everyday demand, making them safe long-term plays. Third, even when star performers like Unilever face short-term dips, the overall trend remains positive. For long-term investors, these pullbacks are often moments to hold steady rather than panic. Finally, the bond market offers diversification. With steady yields above 6%, sovereign and corporate bonds remain reliable choices for those seeking fixed income alongside equities. This balance between growth and stability is key for building wealth in the region. At Daba, we know it can be difficult to track every market move. That's why we created Daba Pro. With Daba Pro, you get weekly recommendations, exclusive analysis, and reduced fees for your trades. It's the perfect tool to help you anticipate trends instead of reacting late. Subscribe today. With Daba Pro, you don't just follow the markets, you stay ahead of them. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening to the Daba Markets Talk podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with another update. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, follow us, and share with friends. Remember, this information is for educational purposes. Always do your own research or consult with a financial advisor before making investment decisions. And download the Daba app on your app store to start investing in African stocks, bonds, and manage portfolios through your phone and find other helpful content. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing your financial knowledge.